Awesome. Welcome everyone to our grand finale of our 30-day cleanse challenge, our cleanse group. We've successfully pressed that reset button on our guts, removed all that bad bacteria, all the toxins that have been wreaking havoc on our health. And now we can move forward and focus on building on this healthy foundation that we've set. So, over the past 30 days, we've learned that our guts control and deal with almost every aspect of our health. We learned that 90% of disease and discomfort is directly or indirectly related to an unclean colon. So, our mood, our behavior, our energy, our weight, food cravings, hormonal balances, immunity, and overall just general sense of well being is all very much related to our gut health. And so, we need to always work on improving our gut health as much as we can on a regular basis. And doing this cleanse, what we've done is that, we've started to notice some changes where we've started to remove a lot of those toxins and inflammation in our bodies. We have lost weight, some inches, and felt, probably really, really good. We might felt lighter as well. We may have noticed an elevated mood. We may have noticed improvements in our sleep patterns as well, less bloating and gassiness, which is very, very common, especially after, within a few weeks of doing the cleanse, people notice that their bloating and gassiness goes down dramatically, especially after meals, and even improvements in bowel movements, right? Normally, for a lot of people, having a regular bowel movement every day is just something that they don't do, right? And so this is something that really helps people develop more regularity in their bowel movements and more quality bowel movements. And while the cleanse is not a weight loss product, yes, people have lost some weight, and I'm so excited to share that with you guys. So because again, this is a metabolic reset, and there are certain species of bacteria that tend to help our bodies release some of that weight. And so you may have noticed that some weight loss may have occurred. And so, like when I did the cleanse about 2 months ago, I noticed changes in my energy levels. I noticed changes in my bloating, my gassiness. That all disappeared. My bowel movements became regular again. I lost about an inch off my waistline, and I've also noticed improvements in my skin. My complexion feels brighter. I also noticed that I definitely make better food choices. I don't crave as much sugar as I used to. I used to always feel like every night after dinner I'd want something sweet, and I no longer have that craving anymore. I also noticed that during my cleanse, my bloating almost got worse before it got better. And I know that's a really common reaction for some people. And this happened, if we remember, the purpose of fibers from the live fiber, they end up fermenting in our gut if we're not used to a fibrous diet. And so this creates some gas, and this also creates some cramping as well. And so this fermentation has a purpose, right? Because our bodies need to start to build the bacteria to digest these fibers that are in the live fiber. And so eventually your body starts to adjust and that bloating subsides. And so during the cleanse, my energy also, I noticed it kind of went like a little bit of a roller coaster. It went up and then down, but then eventually it started to level back to normal. Actually, my overall energy felt a bit more boosted than normal. And since then, again, like I said, my bowels have been more consistent. The uncomfortable bloat from meals is gone. And especially since staying consistent on probiotic, that has been extremely helpful in keeping that bloat at bay. Yep, and that's that. And so here's what our microbiome journey looked like. See, I love using this analogy of grass because we can really draw really good parallels with it when we talk about our digestive system. Before, our digestive grass was very unkept. It was neglected. And during the cleanse, we planted some new seeds, we ripped out that old grass, and within a few weeks, we started to notice some new grass growing. Some symptoms were starting to go away. Now, while we're moving towards maintenance mode, we need to learn to incorporate some tools to maintain consistency of our microbiome. And just like our lawn needs constant care and attention, otherwise the grass goes back to where it was before, we need to incorporate some tools to help maintain some consistency of our diverse microbiome. So we need to focus on adding what's missing in our diet to help bridge the gaps in our nutrition. And we're going to talk about one way that we can do that today. As we learned from our past few webinars, the environment really impacts our microbiome. And so we've successfully begun to change this internal environment, but it's up to us to use the tools to maintain it, because we cannot necessarily control everything around us in our own environment. So before, we didn't feel really healthy because we were exposed to such toxic environments, right? By the food we were eating, the poor nutrition we were giving it, and the intestinal damage from prescription medication like antibiotics, pollution from our environment, bad bugs, bad bacteria. And so it needed some work. So we began to start to add what's missing in our diet by adding those prebiotic fibers in live fiber. That helped us get a clean canvas to help grow and feed this healthy bacteria and improve our nutrient absorption, while at the same time that pairway really immobilized and got rid of that bad bacteria for us, so that that good bacteria could have a healthy environment to flourish. And so within a few weeks, we've cleaned out that old waste, the toxins, the bad bacteria that might have been overgrowing or throwing our microbiome off balance. And so we started giving our gut a nice, fresh, clean slate. And so the reason we do this is because sometimes, as you remember from our last webinars, it's very difficult to make changes in our microbiome. Sometimes there's certain species of bacteria that become very overgrown, and they don't allow other bacteria to kind of sit with them. And so these bacteria are very resistant to change. And so, for example, if I take a probiotic, and depending on the type of bacteria that's living in my gut, it's possible that certain species of these bacteria could kill off this new bacteria. And so this probiotic may or may not have a good effect on the body. And a perfect example is from that UC San Francisco study that I referenced in our last talk on probiotics. And so in our last few weeks, we started to add in those probiotics. This is a perfect time to do that, because now we've kind of removed a lot of those bad bacteria. And so this has really, for some people, given some immediate relief. And this is because the Probiotic Plus helps to replenish the gut with new strains of healthy bacteria, helps to remove and reduce that inflammation. It allows for new bacteria species to flourish that play really important roles in the overall health of our gut. And we may have noticed that helped us relieve some of these symptoms that we were experiencing, like bloating, irregular digestion, constipation, or some slow transit. And so because live fiber, in the cleanse, it's been really functional in creating some bulk and helping things move along and cleaning out those toxins and wastes that the pairway was removing. And so by also incorporating those better foods, using that nutrition guide that I provided you guys, we have also collectively changed our microbiome and improved its diversity in the long run. So congratulations, be proud of yourself, because this is huge. We've really set the foundation. And so the good news here is that you don't need to do the cleanse system again, for at least for another maybe year or two, right? The cleanse isn't something that I would say that you have to do every once in a while. It's something you can do if you feel like, oh, things are slowing down and you're getting a lot of changes that are happening in your environment and you want a little shift. It's a great place to start. But the good news is that we don't need to do a cleanse every single day for the rest of our life to maintain these kinds of results. But in maintenance mode, we do need to incorporate some tools to help maintain the consistency. And so just like our lawn needs that constant care and attention, we need to incorporate these tools to maintain consistency of our diverse microbiome. So we're going to add what's missing by bridging those gaps. And so remember, our environment changed. Before modernization, our microbiomes were filled with diverse species of bacteria, and we didn't have to worry so much about supplementation. We were getting enough sunlight, we were in a natural environment, being exposed to beneficial organisms, and it was very natural. And so we didn't need any of these probiotics. We didn't need to supplement with fibers because we were getting it from our foods and our soils naturally. Whereas now we're just not getting enough sunlight. We're not exposed to natural environments. We live in a very concrete jungle experience, right? So we don't get exposed to diverse species of bacteria through our foods, especially nowadays. We're wearing masks outside. So we are definitely not getting exposed to anything at this point. And so we barely even contact soil. We barely even contact any surfaces anymore. We're sanitizing everything. And so we're definitely not getting any, good species of bacteria from our environment at this point. And even when we go to a grocery store, you see the way the food is presented to us. It's all shiny and like perfectly packaged, just like not even a speck of dirt that you can see because it's already cleansed by the time it gets to the grocery store. And so this is really just come to our attention that our food has really changed. We're living in a world where our food is ultra processed. We have preservatives that have been, unfortunately, have an antimicrobial effect, which means it has like a bit of an antibiotic effect in our bodies, where we have pollution and we even have like chemicals that have that negative effect on that good bacteria in our systems. And those are impacting our internal gut environment. And so even though our bodies are being polluted, and we are getting exposed to all of these harmful pesticides and herbicides and things like that, these are things that we cannot always control, right? We don't know what's always in our foods. And we can't 100% completely cut out processed foods because it's just so much, it's so abundant in our world, right? And we all live busy lifestyles. It's very hard and difficult to make sure that you eat super clean and super healthy, at least consistently, right? And so what we can do is think about strategies and add things in our diets that can help us bridge the gaps in our nutrition. So even though, you had that burger and fries that one day, you're not completely derailed from your whole, and completely derailing your metabolism, derailing your system. You're able to kind of give your body a better chance. And we can utilize some of these tools to even help maintain our digestive lining, our digestive rest as well, maintain that health, because this is super important long term to maintain the health and enhance the health of our microbiome. And so I'm going to share my sister's results. So this is a perfect example of what maintenance can do for your health. So my sister for many, many years was struggling with back acne. And she came to me after trying all kinds of creams and lotions and just you name it, she's tried it. And so she came to me, she's like, Karen, what can I do? Because she realized like you can do all you can externally, but your skin only penetrates about 20%. Right? When you put things on topically, right? But your skin internally grows 80% from the inside. So it's whatever you put into your body is what's going to show up on the outside. And so she decided to do the cleanse for the month. I recommended her to do the cleanse. And after 30 days, her back acne started to decrease. You can see those spots started to dry up. It started to flake off. And so after 2 months of staying consistent on live fiber and probiotic plus, she saw incredible changes in her back. Her back cleared up. She got this glow, and she no longer actually deals with any back acne issues. She no longer has those issues. And this is because she's been able to continually add that good diversity of bacteria in the body. She continually prioritizes these healthy prebiotic fibers with the live fiber and another fiber I'm going to recommend you guys today to help feed the good bacteria using these products. Again, where we cannot find it in nature anymore, we need to supplement and bridge those gaps. And so it's important to remember that this cleanse is a reset. You need tools to maintain your lawn, and the same applies to our gut microbiome and our overall metabolic health. And so this is why food alone is not enough. And as much as I wish we could just eat whole foods and just eat like lots of vegetables and that kind of thing and live in that perfect world and perfect environment, the reality is we don't, right? And so, in supplementing to ensure that you're getting adequate levels of fibers and vitamins and minerals is super essential, especially long-term. We talked about in our last couple of talks, we talked about what bananas used to look like. They used to look like that picture on the left where you could see the fiber in it. It was actually less sugary. There was more, Fruit was way more chewy. It's actually really hard to find as well, isn't as abundant in our world today, only available in certain parts of the world. But now bananas are everywhere and they're so sugary. They're like the perfect snack to go, right? And so people are consuming way more of these sugary fruits, and it's affecting our bodies, it's affecting our metabolism. And so even if you look at the way our food is grown, these agricultural practices, we don't grow food to make it nutritious. We grow food to sell food, to feed the masses. You know, it has to be appealing to us. We're not going to go to the grocery store and pick up that green banana. We're going to want to pick up that yellow banana because it looks so appealing and beautiful, right? We want to consume that. And so the bigger it is, the better too, right? The more water that's in it. And so the more mouths it can feed. And then eventually that comes down to this: the more money these food companies can make. And so this is why many companies do this. They make food very quickly, they make it juicier, they make it sweeter, they make it super appealing, and they can do it without adding all of these good organic acids that help replenish those vitamins and minerals and make it still taste good. And so these companies, they really don't feel the need to add these vitamins and minerals in order for it to be tasty and have people buy it. So they don't do it. And so again, we're trying to focus on creating a targeted approach for you guys, a simple system that's super easy and easy to incorporate, something that you can just add versus thinking about dieting and pulling things out of your lifestyle, right? We're not here to do that. We're here to fill our bodies up with good things that we want to add in our life versus, you know, dieting through subtraction. So this is why we take a very targeted approach when it comes to our microbiome health and our overall metabolic health versus like a shotgun approach where you're like in a buffet or something, right? Taking a little bit from here, a little bit from here, and a little bit from there and getting nowhere, right? You're arriving nowhere because you don't know what each principle means, right? You don't know what it ultimately defines at the end of the day. And so this is why, you know, it's super important that that what I do is I focus on educating people about how their bodies work and what to do with that information. And so like, let's again, like look at what happened to our foods over the years. If you look at the vitamins and mineral content, there's been a drastic reduction because of these farming techniques and soil depletion. You know, this article talks about the fact that you need to eat 8 oranges today to get the same amount of vitamin A than our grandmothers used to get from 1. Like, that's crazy. You can look this up. It's called Dirt Poor. If you just search up on Google, Scientific American Soil Depletion, this is the first article that will come up. And even if you eat healthy, you know, like I meet people all the time that go, oh, I eat so healthy, but I'm struggling. Why am I struggling? And I'm like, well, the reality is you're still vitamin and mineral depleted, right? You're still not getting all those essential vitamins and minerals and fibers that your body needs. You're not getting enough protein, perhaps, right? So even if you look at this chart, it shows just the mineral depletions that have changed in all different categories of foods in the past 50 to 70 years. So it's not what you eat on a good day that matters. It's what you're eating even on bad days that matters too, right? So even those healthy people, they go for cheat meals, right? We all do. And on that cheat meal, you're getting absolutely no vitamins and minerals. So where are you going to get your nutrition consistently? You have to supplement. And again, this is just another example of that. You know, even if the population increases the consumption of whole unprocessed foods, there's still a 30% reduction in nutrients in food today as compared to 100 years ago. So eating real food, moral of the story, eating real food is no longer enough, whatever real is. Everything is processed these days, but whatever real is. And another thing is that there's lots of studies that are coming out that are talking about fiber intake, right? And that fiber intake is crucial to help with modern metabolic conditions like diabetes. And recently, this article came out where researchers show that eating more fibers increases life expectancy. But our food processing and manufacturing removes these fibers. So our whole wheat is no longer healthier than our white bread. So just because it looks brown does not necessarily mean that it's got a lot more goodness for you. It's probably just as processed. You might as well have that white bread because it's pretty much the same. And so even the reality is the foods that you see on the shelves containing fiber, it's not very high. You know, they're ultra processed fibers, and there's just not enough variety that you can get just from their diet alone, right? If you were to try to pick like oat bran this and this wheat that and all that, like, and try to create your own concoction, it'd be really difficult to do, and it'd be hard to understand and know the right amounts without over consuming in terms of calorie consumption, right? And again, not all fibers are the same. Remember, we talked about this in our last talk. Not all fibers are the same, and not all fibers have that same function. There's actually this study that came out that showed the difference between eating processed grains versus unprocessed grains, and those that consume those more unrefined, unprocessed grains showed greater weight reductions. But the reality is it's very difficult to find good unprocessed grains these days. So if you look at even the daily recommended fiber requirements for Canadians, we're not even getting close to meeting our recommendations, and that too, we're not meeting them consistently. You know, an average healthy person gets maybe 8 to 15 grams of fiber per day, which to me is shocking. It's shocking because we're healthy, we eat lots of vegetables, we eat a lot of these health foods, but still we're struggling to meet our fiber intake. And so just to give you some perception on that and perspective, think about what 4 cups of broccoli in terms of fiber is. That's only 10 grams of fiber. If you would have to, that's like a lot of broccoli. I don't even think we can finish 4 cups of broccoli because it's so filling. And that's reality. No one is really going to eat 4 cups. And again, there's not enough variety in just that 1 cup of broccoli either. And so again, remember, it's really important to remember that fiber produces these short chain fatty acids, and these are beneficial for our metabolism to absorb nutrients and help us get energy. 70% of our energy comes from our gut. So we need to make sure that we're prioritizing this health of our gut. And if we don't, what happens is a lot of these bacteria will start to eat the gut lining because they're lacking their food. And so that can lead to some more problems in the future, like leaky gut, IBS, diverticulitis, or Crohn's, colitis, and then you're like reverting back to square one, right? And so I'm sure we can all agree we're not turning back, and I have a very interesting colitis story to share with you guys towards the end. So I'm excited. So again, there is clearly a gap in our nutrition in terms of fiber, but we have some great tools to help you bridge the gap. And the reality is that if we don't use tools, we may struggle. We might find that we're over-consuming our total carbohydrates or calories and gaining weight. And I'm not talking about the healthy kind of weight, right? When most of us really just want to lose weight, or lose body fat, I should say. And so at this point, I'm going to talk about 3 different types of options that you have in terms of incorporating a variety of fibers into your diet. And some of these offer beneficial nutrients to help maintain the diversity of your microbiome at the same time to help you improve your metabolic health and reach your daily intake of fiber. Okay. So before I talk about this, I want to talk about this analogy that I want to use. Okay. So I like to talk about choosing a car, because when you go buy a car, you're thinking about what do you need it for, what is the performance, what is the quality, how long it's going to last you, like that kind of stuff you're thinking about. You're asking yourself those questions. And so it's the same thing when it comes to choosing the right fiber for you, right? You have different options based on their different needs, based on the different functions, and for your lifestyle. So for example, if you're a contractor, you're not going to buy a Honda Civic, right? Because doesn't have enough room for you, for all your tools, for all your equipment. It's not useful. You're more better off choosing that pickup truck. So while I talk about these different fibers, I think the best thing to do is to think about picturing yourself using it, right? What would best suit your needs based on that lifestyle, based on that function, based on the performance and the benefits that it can provide you, and what your ultimate end goal is with your health and your gut health and your metabolic goals. And so here are your 3 options. The first one is the live fiber. You can continue to use the live fiber, and we'll talk about that. It offers you 6 grams of fiber per scoop. You have about 45 servings in that container. So you might notice that even at the end of this cleanse, you still have lots of live fiber left, and that's great. It can continue to use that until it's completed, and you can continue to use it and get more. Again, like I said, it has that herbally banana flavor. Not everybody's accustomed to it, where that's when I really I encourage people to switch over or add on to Balance, right? Where they can get an extra 12 grams of fiber. There's a lot of other benefits to that as well. We'll go into that in more detail. You get 60 servings there, and it has that orangey creamsicle flavor. And then the third option is a bit more advanced. That one is called Bio 7, and that one is specifically designed to help enhance the diversity of the microbiome. And that really has like a very grapefruity flavor. And again, it has 12 grams of fiber per packet and 60 servings. So with live fiber, it's one of those foundational gut supporting products. I love it because the benefits, right? I don't like the taste. I have to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it contains these healthy herbs and botanicals that you just don't get in anywhere anymore, right? It has these healthy herbs to help support gut health. It contains psyllium husk that creates bulk. It has, even acts like a good prebiotic fiber, and it has guar gum and citrus pectin, and these fructooligosaccharides, which are also these good prebiotic, healthy prebiotic fibers. And these fibers work together not only to push out that old bacteria, but also to build and grow new bacteria. So even if I'm eating healthy, I still need a product like live fiber, which has these standardized ingredients that have a purpose, right? We know where they're coming from. We know they're not put together for taste, but they're put together for health. And so these ingredients are they're actually very costly to grow, right? To get to grow together, because these specially grown health ingredients aren't very high in demand, right? Not everybody's looking for this specific root walnut hull thing, right? Not everybody's looking for that. And so these have a smaller demand and don't taste as good. And so they're not grown as much. So, and I always like to use this analogy, like if people cared about health as they cared about taste, then McDonald's would not be huge today. Right? People don't care that it's good for us. They only care that it tastes good. So that's an unfortunate fact. So this is why we have another option for you guys, right? But the reality is live fiber has all the bits and pieces you do need because it is designed for health, right? So continue to use it at least until it's finished. But yeah, we can talk about the next option, which is my favorite. So some of you actually might be super motivated now that you've cleansed your system to adopt more healthier habits. And I say that's exciting. I'm so pumped and excited about that. And you can do so while boosting your metabolic health and continuing to add healthy fibers. And this is where balance can be the best fit for that goal. So some of you have seen me mixing this orange drink before I eat. And I'm not able to really go into full depth about how powerful this product is, but I'll try my best to do what I can with the time that we have. What I can share that this is the only fiber-based product, only clinically proven fiber-based product to lower the glycemic response to the foods that I eat. And this is important because it helps to slow the absorption of foods, lowers the insulin response as a result, and helps my body utilize its own fat stores for energy more efficiently. That's powerful. And 2 packets a day gives you about 24 grams of fiber a day. That's like your minimum goals. You're pretty much hitting your goals with this thing. And it gets you closer to that fiber diversity because of all the different types of fibers that are in there. And I've also have heard many stories of people who've had really good improvements with their IBS symptoms, right? Irritable bowel syndrome symptoms. And so currently Unicity Balance is actually going through a clinical study as a therapy for managing IBS, which is really cool. And so Balance also, like I said, has these added vitamins and minerals to help bridge the gaps from our foods. If you look at it, it has all your vitamin C, your vitamin A, folic acid, has all these great things in there, biotin's in there as well. So it's great for your hair. It's great for your nails, great for your skin. And then also it has these special phytosterols and phytonutrients to help you reduce cravings, to help you feel fuller, faster from meals, and help you stay full between meals. That's really key, right? Because we don't want to be grazing and snacking all day. And we're able to do this because it's designed to lower that glycemic response from the foods that we eat. And we'll talk about what that is and how that works. And so these fibers are actually very different from live fiber. you'll notice that they're not the same. And the reason is that these fibers perform different functions in the body. These do have that prebiotic benefit, but they have different functions in the body. These ones are more geared towards helping with our metabolism, really helping to lower the sugar impact from the foods that we eat. And so here's an example, before taking balance, if you're eating a high carbohydrate food, so for example, like, let's just look at this chart that we see on the right. We see bowl of rice, we see brown rice, we see oatmeal, we see noodles, we see bread, oranges, brown bread, and banana and milk, okay? You can see those little cubes next to it are all the teaspoons of sugar that are in that 1 cup or 1 serving of that particular food. And so you can imagine what is happening to your blood sugar levels. Your blood sugars can only handle about, I think, around 4 grams of sugar at a time, right? And that's where it should be around normally, right? That's where it wants to maintain. And so when you're giving your body all the sugar, your blood sugar is going to spike up. And in response, your insulin levels are going to go up as well. And what happens is within an hour or two, depending on how high that blood sugar spike went up, you end up lowering that blood sugar down, and you experience a crash where that falling blood sugar triggers that hunger. You feel a drop in energy, and those sugar cravings start to grow. If you've ever had like cereal for breakfast and then in an hour you're like, I am starving even though I just had a bowl of cereal, it's because of this effect, right? And so this is what happens when you take balance with before a meal. Before the same meal, you'll see a significant reduction in blood sugar because these fibers are specifically designed to trap sugars and prevent them from absorbing. They just kind of like attach to that sugar and just don't let it be absorbed as much, right? And so this allows for a very steady release of sugar into the bloodstream and a steady release of insulin into the bloodstream. And this prevents those cravings, prevents that irritability, and improves our body's ability to use its own fat for fuel. And the reason is when insulin is present and insulin is high, our bodies cannot utilize our own fat stores for energy. They need insulin levels to be down because insulin is a growth hormone. It's an anabolic hormone. And so what you do is really simple. You take a packet of Balance. Let me see if I have one here actually. I didn't bring one up with me, but it's a little packet, like the one that you see in the bottom left corner. Little packet, you pour it into like a cup of water, you shake it, and you drink it, just like Life Fiber, except with this, it's more of a smoother texture. It's not as grainy as Life Fiber, and it has that orangey flavor, which is better. And then another thing is you want to chug it down because it does get thick really quickly. So you want to make sure that you chug it down because it's got that effect where it can expand in your system and help trap those sugars. And so you want to have this about 10 minutes before your lunch and your dinner, your 2 biggest, largest meals, whichever of those 2 or both you have. And again, the best way and the most effective way to take Balance is to have it twice a day. But if you find that, you're only having 1 heavy meal, take it once a day until you feel like, what, maybe I'm going to start taking it twice a day. And so, yeah, if you take Balance, you will have a powerful effect in your blood sugar levels. And don't just take it from this chart that I made. This has actually been a replication of this exact graph from the University of Sydney that is showing the 30% reduction in blood sugar levels from taking Balance with white bread. Okay, so if you take a piece of white bread and just measure your blood sugar levels, you'll see that red line. If you take Balance before that white bread, you'll see that green line. And if you take 2 servings, you'll see that purple line. So you get an additional drop in that blood sugar level. So you can get up to a 30% drop in your blood sugar levels just from taking this product before you eat. And so this is why I love using it for my cheat meals. And the same thing applies with your blood insulin because insulin is the key to help you improve your metabolic system, improve your metabolism. If you take Balance before any meal, you can see up to a 27% reduction in blood sugar levels blood insulin levels. And this in particular is in relation to that white bread. compared to that placebo, right? And there's been no other multi-fiber complex that has been able to replicate these results, which make it a very powerful addition to anyone's diet. See, Balance has been around for over 25 years. It has been around for a very long time and has had very powerful clinical studies all over the world. I think there's over 50 clinical studies on this product alone, and it's also been tested in placebo-controlled studies. So if anyone knows what placebo-controlled studies are, it's compared to, so if somebody thinks that they're having the fiber before they eat, you know, and they think that they're going to have a blood sugar response, decreased response. This has also been tested against that. So there is no element of chance here. This is a real science-based product. It works. It does what it's intended to do. And actually, I'm going to share a little story. So this is a little test that my husband and I did. It was more to kind of just reinforce our already building belief on this product, because when we initially were introduced to it in 2013, we were a bit skeptical about it. But nothing really built my belief more until I saw the power of what it did for my husband's uncle. So my husband's uncle's name is Raghav, and Raghav had meningitis when he was a baby, and he can't speak. He needs assistance to eat. He needs assistance for bathing, for showering, for everything, okay? And because of his Indian vegetarian diet, he eventually developed type 2 diabetes. And he also got a bunch of other like health issues, but that was like the main concern, because when I first went to India and I met Raghav and, you know, Raz's grandparents for the first time, and when I saw him, he was a completely different person from what you see in that picture. He was very dull, lifeless. He would just sit on a chair for hours on end, have no energy. And what was scarier was that his feet were cold to the touch, they were swollen, and there was a cut on his leg from a fall. And that was not healing. So that was really scary. So Rav and I knew that this was a sign that if he doesn't get his blood sugars in control, those legs are going to get amputated. And he's already completely dependent. So think about how hard that would be on the entire family, to having to take care of already someone who is disabled, and then now them not even be able to walk. And so Rav decided to give him a packet of Balance before every single meal that he had. Okay, Indian vegetarian meal, didn't change his meals. And within 10 days that we were in India, here's what happened. His energy levels started to change. The cut on his leg was healing. He was getting the color and the warmth back in his legs. The swelling was going down, and the icing on the cake is that when he went to the doctor, his doctor was so impressed with his blood sugar levels that he reduced his medications by, I think it was like a half. It was like an insane amount. I don't know the exact numbers. Clarify that with my husband, Rad. He knows the exact numbers, but all I know is that he was reduced. His medications were reduced. And now fast forward, like this is like in 2014 when we were there. Now fast forward to now, he's 20 pounds lighter. He has so much energy. He's, you know, has this brightness and light in him, and his blood sugars are in so much better control. His diet consists of a protein shake in the morning with live fiber, and Balance before lunch and dinner. And he still eats a typical Indian diet. We have not changed or modified his diet. So this is the power of Balance. If there's any placebo effect that you want to test it on this guy that knows absolutely nothing about what he's having, right? He has no idea what you're giving him. And so this was a very powerful story, and this really kind of fueled my passion to really help a lot of people out there, especially those who are suffering with diabetes. And I know that's really prominent in the Indian community, amongst other communities, of course, in our populations in Canada and the world, really. And so moving on, the third option of your fiber options are Bio7. Okay, so this is a very advanced fiber complex. It's very similar to Balance in that it has these 7 different prebiotic fibers, but it's different in that it has some added fibers in there to help support the microbiome, and it's been clinically proven to improve microbiome diversity. And so with this product, you only have to take it 1 time a day to feel the benefits. And you don't necessarily have to take it before food. You can take it at any time of the day. And plus there's also, again, a lot of these added vitamins and minerals in there to help you bridge the gaps in your nutrition that you can't always get consistently. And so, like I said, this has been clinically studied to help improve that microbiome diversity. When we look at microbiome diversity, that means a number and species of bacteria that live in our guts, right? And so this has been shown to have a 58% increase in diversity, in diverse species of gut bacteria, because these fibers act like food for those good bacteria. And so they flourish and they grow. You know, when you're given the good food to grow, your body will do what it needs to do. And so it's the same thing with these bacteria. If you give the bacteria the optimal environment, they will grow and they will flourish and they will perform at their optimal function, and it will impact your overall health. And so through clinical trials, it's shown to have an effect on blood sugar levels as well, but it's not as significant, like I said, as balance. Balance is very standalone in terms of its effects on our blood sugar levels, whereas, you know, Bio7 isn't as powerful, but it's more focused for microbiome support. And again, like, as much as everyone likes to argue, I eat lots of vegetables and I eat lots of a really healthy diet, reality is, you know, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Okay. So on average, we're eating less vegetables and less variety of vegetables. Guys, cucumbers, tomatoes, and lettuce is not considered variety of vegetables. So let's get that straight and let's get that out of the way. We need to incorporate lots of variety of vegetables, or we need to supplement and bridge the gaps. Again, think about what can you do consistently every day that's simple, that's easy to do, and you have the ability to do it. And so the reality is our total fiber intake has drastically reduced. If you look at the gray bars, those light gray bars, those indicate our recommended intake versus the dark gray bars represent our actual intake. And so it doesn't matter what age group you're in or whether you're male or you're female, our total fiber intake has gone down. So there's no wonder that the majority of us have been experiencing these digestive issues, because fiber is so important and so essential in improving and maintaining optimal gut health. And then that's why I know a lot of you reached out into this cleanse group, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity to help you. And so again, I like to emphasize that what you choose today should be based on need and function. Live fiber is going to be that daily gentle scrub for you and helping you add those 4 healthy prebiotic fibers. Balance is going to help you balance your blood sugar levels, boost nutrient intake, help your body use its own fat stores for energy, add 7 different prebiotic fibers to your diet that you would not get from your food alone, and have that also that gut support. Versus Bio7 is going to really just enhance that gut, environment and give you these prebiotic fibers with some blood sugar effect, but it will mainly promote a diverse species of bacteria in your body. And so the big question remains, right? How much is each, right? Because that matters too, right? The ability for someone to be able to use this, right, on a regular basis. So live fiber is $45 for 45 servings. Balance is $103 for 60 servings. So when taken twice a day, it comes to about $1.71 a serving, or $3.50 a day, which is literally like your Starbucks run, guys. It's actually cheaper than your Starbucks run. And then Bio7 is like $180, okay? If you take it once a day, or if you take it twice a day, it'd be $3.60. So again, pick and choose the fiber that fits best with your lifestyle, with your goal, with the performance that you wanted to do, and for the optimal function at the end of the day of what you want to achieve. And so again, with live fiber, you're not paying any tax on that. You also get free shipping with your memberships. 103 is Balance. You get that, it is plus tax, but you also get free shipping on all the products. And then also, if you combine it with the protein meal replacement, you save $24. So you get an additional savings there. And then again, with Bio7, it is a US-based product, so that you would get shipped from the US. So there is a $12 shipping fee with that, but you aren't paying tax or duties. So that's always good. It's pretty much the same. Balances out. So again, we have different fiber options based on different functions for comfort and feel. So when we're thinking about adding that complex of fibers, think about which one will suit your needs based on your function, based on performance, and based on your goals. So for some of you, it might be both live fiber and balance. For some of you, it just might be live fiber, and that's okay. Some of you might just be balance. You might be like, yo, I'm ready for the next one. That's great. Let's fix my metabolism now. And for some of you, it may just be like Bio7, because you're like, I really just want to enhance and really hammer down on my microbiome and fix my gut. And so for each of you, you have different goals. And for example, myself, I eat a vegetarian diet. So for me, controlling carbohydrates is a priority, right? Especially knowing that I meet my daily protein goals, it requires me to eat more foods. And that's where I use balance and protein every single day to help me make sure that I control those carbs and I enhance my protein intake. So to help you decide what's the best fit for you, I can connect with each of you over the next week or so, and let's look at your individual goals moving forward, and I can help you come up with a plan that best suits you to help you sustain your results. Again, I can't know that right now, just by talking to you guys over this, conference call. We need to have a more of a one-on-one conversation so I can help you dissect further and figure out what would be the best fit for you. So if you haven't already started on your probiotics, this is the time to do it. For some of us, the cramping has been tougher than expected, right? So in that case, I've had a few people start on the probiotics a little bit sooner than we needed to, right? And this is important because, as I mentioned before, while cleansing, the body can start to allow for new species of bacteria to grow where probiotics may not have been useful in the past, right? Remember those bully bacteria that may have gotten in the way? This now, it's because we've cleared up our systems a bit, this good bacteria can really do its work. And so it really doesn't matter what you use, right? I had someone taking enzymes, I had someone taking apple cider vinegar, and literally she had no relief until she started to incorporate Probiotic Plus. And then finally she felt some constant relief. So yeah. And additionally, again, it's not about giving your body enough fibers. You need to add healthy bacteria to ferment these fibers, right? So adding probiotics consistently for the next 3 months after the cleanse to help colonize your gut will be really helpful to help enhance the diversity and those really maintain those bacterial strains, give them that home that they need. And again, you may also notice that each of the products that I recommend is from Unicity. And I had this conversation with some of you already, but the reason I like to recommend Unicity is that Unicity is one of the only companies, one of the very few companies that actually takes care to ensure that from start to finish, each ingredient is selected. It's selected for quality, it's selected for taste, it's selected for efficacy, and before a product is released into the market, it's tested and validated 3 times in order to confirm that it delivers the results that it's been designed to do. And another thing is that Unicity manufactures its own products, and that's really important because you're not having a third-party manufacturer take shortcuts, right? They handle everything in-house. And so they have complete control of the end product, and the quality deserves the label. I've personally done my research on the company, flown to the headquarters multiple times to interview the research scientists behind the company and the executive team to ensure that really just build my confidence that what I recommend is a quality product that will do what it says it's going to do. That's really important to me. And I hope that comes across. And so let's take a few minutes. We're almost done here to hear from a few people who've been experiencing incredible results on the products. You don't have to show yourself, but let me see who we have here. It's just you, Selena. And I know you kind of shared your story, but if you're willing to share, I'm just gonna unmute you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, definitely like that feeling of bloatingness has gone away.
Mm-hmm.
I was having like really bad cravings, to the point that I was constantly eating. Like for the most part, that's gone. I'm like definitely not snacking as much as I was before, which is great. Yeah, and overall, just I feel better.
Awesome. Have you noticed any changes in your measurements or weight at all?
No, my weight's kind of stayed the same.
Okay.
But like I wasn't really focusing on weight loss, so I think I could have made, if I tried harder with my diet choices, I probably could have lost a little bit of weight, but it wasn't like the biggest concern for me, so I kind of wasn't too fussed about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So
I have noticed. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Good. Go ahead.
I have noticed I'm still not getting enough protein. Like as much as I try, I'm not getting enough protein.
Yeah. So maybe we can have a conversation, this and,
Yep.
and talk about ways that we can do that. We can improve your protein intake.
Yep.
But I was going to ask, like, how was your overall experience in terms of like simplicity of the program, the information, like what would you say if you were to give it a rating out of 1 to 10? No pressure.
Oh, it was great. Like I'd give it a 10. Like it was super easy. After a couple of days, I kind of got into the habit of like getting up, taking the pear away, having breakfast, and then having like the life fiber. And then if I had the nighttime one, I just kind of took it before bed.
Nice.
I just find now with the probiotic, I'm kind of all over the place with it, but I think I just need to find a consistent time to take it.
Yeah, it's because it's one of those products you can just take anytime. It doesn't
Yeah.
really have a time limit.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's one of those kind of
I
almost
just I've been trying to take it before bed, but then sometimes like forget, or I'm just like tired, so then I try and take it earlier. But I think I just need to start taking it at breakfast. So
yeah, just take it first thing in the morning.
Get it done, and then like everything's done, kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Take it first thing in the morning with your live fiber while you still have it.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the best advice that I can give. I always find that that's pretty consistent because you already are consistent with that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to share a couple other stories, and then we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So the first person I want to talk about is Sama. So she actually did my cleanse group last time. And, she's not going to come on and share her story, but she basically messaged me. And I think this is a really powerful story because she was originally dealing with food intolerances, headaches, slowed metabolism, and was really afraid of developing metabolic disease. And this is really rare that I find that a 20-year-old is concerned about this. But again, she's also from an Indian background. So with the cleanse, it's really been a game changer for her because she was able to start eating foods again that were giving her this upset stomach and reduced discomfort and bloating. And she was also noticing that she was no longer dealing with constant headaches. And so I'm so happy that I was able to help her and also continue to help her because she actually is continuing to work with me more on one-on-one in terms of boosting and improving her metabolic health. And she just gave me an update a few days ago about her digestive system. And she's like, she's never felt better. And it's been a consistent maintenance that she's been able to keep up with. So I'm really excited about sharing that story. The next person I want to talk about is Tina. So she is actually a fellow personal trainer who I think honestly is one of the examples of people who eat a very clean and healthy diet. Yet, she was dealing with some incredible digestive issues. Like myself, she's bloating consistently and significantly after meals, and she was experiencing some low energy levels as well. And so in 3 weeks, she actually noticed that she felt lighter, she felt less bloated, and her bloating completely disappeared. She actually even looks like she got a little bit smaller too as well, but she'll have to confirm that herself. But she does look like she's smaller in that picture. But actually I got this message, I think it was like a week or two after the cleanse. And so she said to me that this was the first time that when she got on her period that she didn't feel as much cramps, right? The cramps that she had were not as strong, or like she didn't have any cramps pretty much throughout her period. And so this was really shocking, and she was super excited about that. So I'm just ecstatic to hear that this is continuing on and growing. Oh, and she started to share the cleanse now with her clients now, which is powerful because we're really spreading the message in terms of improving people's gut health and metabolic health. Okay, so this is someone who just finished the cleanse. I wonder if she's available. No, she said she just messaged me. She's stuck at work, but also kind of speak on her behalf. But basically, those pictures on your left pretty much say it all. Like she lost so much weight. She's actually stacked the cleanse with the protein meal replacement shake that I use. I recommended to her because she's like, I'm so busy. I'm always working. I'm on the go. I don't have time to think about anything. I just need to be able to incorporate more protein. And this was something that she was really, it was really easy for her to start to incorporate in her lifestyle. And so she lost about 6 pounds in a month. And she feels, her bloat has completely gone away. I'm literally just reading this right now, and her sugar cravings are gone. And yeah, her energy levels have boosted up as well. And so she's actually gotten started on the balance to continue moving forward. She actually just finished it just this beginning of this week. So cool. Next up, we have someone else that she actually, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her. So she actually approached me a few months before. So when I was originally doing the first cleanse, but then she didn't have the chance to do that group. So she joined me on this next one. And she was actually dealing with colitis. And colitis is a very serious digestive condition. She's taking a bunch of medication, and I was a bit scared because I knew that, you know, with a serious condition like that, sometimes a cleanse can go in the opposite direction, right? And, you know, it may not have that positive benefit that we want it to. And so with the cleanse, I was very like, okay, well, maybe let's approach it a little bit differently, right? And so with her, what we did was we did the live fiber for the first 10 days, and then we started a pair away, and that did the trick. Because within just a few days, actually, she messaged me and she said, my God, I feel amazing. My bowels are going so well. She felt so good. And she had lost some weight as well. This is just like in the beginnings of the cleanse. Like she lost about half a kilo. I think she lost a full kilo now, about 2-3 pounds maybe, but it's not really super significant, but she's really excited and happy because again, her symptoms have been very much alleviated when it comes to her colitis. And again, the middle, I have someone in there who's lost about 3 pounds. They were super excited to share that with me. They were less bloated. And then I have another person that was like really happy about how her bowel movements have been over the past couple of weeks. It was something that she was really focused on working on. So again, everybody has different goals, and we've all kind of gotten different results, but the overlying message is the same. You know, we are all working towards an improved gut microbiome. And so maybe it's time to tackle your next goal, right? Maybe it's time to think about, okay, do I want to lose some weight? Do I want to boost my metabolism? Do I want to start to create some healthy habits that could be, you know, beneficial long-term? You know, I had this client of mine that actually reached out to me after the cleanse, and I kind of touched base and just was like, hey, how is everything going? And she was just like, I am so consistent. And she was struggling with consistency beforehand, right? Just to develop a routine, just to develop some habit system that she can rely on. And so I was just so proud of her to be able to make these changes and, you know, help her out in any way that I could. And again, I just want to put out there that I have been working with people for many years, not one-on-one with their nutrition to help them achieve all kinds of goals. And so I've been able to come up with a program that I call a 90-day lifestyle transformation. I don't like calling things programs because I always get a bit hesitant, right? I feel like they become things and diets and that kind of stuff. But I really believe in this because it really has made some incredible transformations in terms of people's lifestyles, in terms of developing habits and simple things that they can incorporate into their lifestyles to develop and achieve their goals pretty much. And so what I do with them is I go over some current research in nutrition. I share the 4 principles that I follow on a regular basis because I always lead by example and I never teach something that I don't do myself. And then I give some recommendations on how they can achieve their fitness goals and boost their energy levels. And again, these 4 principles help me transform the lives of not only my health, but the health of my family, the health of hundreds of people over the last, I would say 70 years now. And again, like everybody has different goals. Some people want to gain weight. Some people want to just focus on their blood work. Some people want to just lose weight and lose body fat. And again, if this is something that you're interested in doing, book that 1-hour consultation because, I mean, who knows? I'll educate you. You'll learn. You'll pick something up and you'll be able to incorporate some healthy habits in the future. And again, like some of my cleanse graduates, you can benefit from product credits moving forward. You know, I believe in, only sharing things that I do myself and have experienced benefits from. So for all of you that have completed the cleanse, one of the best ways that you can pay for your maintenance is to refer a friend. I'm starting a new cleanse group eventually in the future. I'm not sure when, because right now I'm kind of focused on some other things that I'm working on. But if you do have someone that would love to experience just the